Yeah, yeah. So we just extend you. So
Oh yeah, it'll be over.
We do that one more time. Double Ding Day. Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of LaGrange on Wednesday, March 15th. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation to be given by John Harrell.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pray with me. We come together each week as Rotarians. We talk, we pray, we eat, we listen, and we leave. But we're not defined by our weekly meetings. We're defined throughout each week in which we are provided, perhaps by you, Lord, by those opportunities to serve others. Opportunities to indeed place service above ourselves. Each of us may be called to fulfill the words of our motto in different ways. Each of us should step forward. Our delays and excuses are often too thin. Encourage and empower each of us to demonstrate through our daily actions this benevolent, guiding ideology of service of self. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, John. And Scott will come introduce our guests.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our guests today. So when I call your name, please stand and remain standing until all have been introduced. We have three guests today. All of them are guests of Susan Ferguson. First, I have Kaylin Link, who is with Sheridan Construction. Daniel Evans, welcome back, Daniel, with LaGrange Daily News. And the Reverend James Goodley, who's pastor of First Presbyterian Church. Welcome.
Thank you, and I'll do birthdays and anniversaries. This is your last chance to get some more tea. There's more cookies, and I think some more fried chicken. So feel free to mingle and get that situated. Well, first of all, Barbara, I saw her. She did live through her procedure yesterday, and she's at home having physical therapy today, and hopefully we'll be recovering soon enough to go with us to District Assembly in a couple weeks, or at the end of next week is when that is. Birthdays, Steve Bodner had a birthday last Saturday the 11th, and Molly Fulgham was Sunday the 12th. Club anniversaries, Drew Gay was 8 years on the 11th. Roger Stevens, 34 years today, and Sonny Bogus, 18 years tomorrow. And no wedding anniversaries. There is no board meeting today, it's next week, but if you need to have a board meeting, I can make you a deal on a place. District Training Assembly is a week from Saturday, is that already here? It's a week from Saturday, March 25th, for all y'all going, and District Conference the end of April. Some things, and other dates to keep in mind, annual banquet, June 15th. So no Wednesday meeting on the 14th. So make sure you have the 15th on your calendar. And I will beat this into our brains until September, that our 100-year event, 5K and Fun Run, is on Saturday, September 23rd. The gala event at Delabont on the evening of September 26th. And then, of course, our meeting on the 100th-year anniversary, September 27th. We have some time for happy dollars, if anybody has cash and is happy about it.
I have a couple. Two things. One is the Boy Scouts of America are having their annual Distinguished Citizens Dinner on the 30th at Delabont, and our own Jaja Hurd is our Distinguished Citizen. The second thing is I have some Rogers Barbecue tickets for a fundraiser for Accountability Troop, which you heard about a couple of months ago on the program. So if you want any tickets, I brought them with me. They're $10 each, and they're a fundraiser, and you get good food at Rogers. Thank you.
Don't you have a third thing? Didn't I see on Facebook that it's your birthday?
We did that already.
You haven't announced it yourself. You gotta applaud you. It's a big number, I thought. Or we're not saying, never mind.
We're not saying that.
Take it back.
Okay, so I have an extra dollar. I will honor your birthday. If it's so big, you should share it. So part of this is my IOU from last week. Never let it be said I do not pay my debts. And then two other things. One, just a reminder that Tuesday night, LaGrange Symphony has their education concert. If you know people who've never been to the symphony, or if you have some children or youth that you think need to be exposed to something like that, this would be a great concert to bring people to, because it's a mixture of storytelling, classical music, and movie music. And so it's a really entertaining concert. So we hope that we will see some of you there. And then the other thing that I want to do is just to put something in honor of Dr. Rainey and everything he has meant to this community and to the orchestra. He was one of our attendees and donors, and just a great friend to the orchestra. So just want to honor him. Today, Tuesday night.
Tuesday like that.
The 21st.
Good afternoon. I have two happy dollars. One is because on your table you'll see a flyer. We're doing what's called M&M's, which is motivation and mentoring. On Mondays, we're going to do it at LaGrange High School from 7:45 to 8:15. You greet the students as they come in. Some of them who might just need to have a quick conversation, tell them good morning. Some of our kids don't ever hear good morning, so we call it community hours to come meet with our kids, talk to them. And if they need a little bit, more attention, we will help connect the parent with the student to be their mentor. I know 8:45 is early, and lately, for somehow we slipped back in the winter. You can ask Jason, it's doable. He's been with us at 7:30 in the morning, and it's 32 degrees outside. So, and there's a QR code on there, so you can just scan it, look at the information, sign up if you want to. And the other dollar is just because it's pretty outside.
I have multiple happy dollars, but today the sod is being laid on the baseball field. This has been a long time coming. It's been a very slow process with COVID and weather and tornado and everything else, but it's going down today. Two patriotic things happening on April 15th, okay? taxes, very patriotic, right? We love taxes. Baseball, two things together. Baseball, the Miracle League will have its opening day that day. I encourage you to come out at 9 o'clock in the morning. It will be an experience. And next Thursday is ribbon cutting for the Gym and Net Boys Inclusive Athletic Complex at Lafayette Christian School. It'll be at 10 o'clock on Thursday. Come see us.
Thank y'all so much. And now Dee will tell us all about his birthday and introduce our birthday.
He's not saying.
Thank you, Susan. It's an honor to introduce today's speaker. Paul Stedman came to LaGrange from Michigan, where he worked with the mentally handicapped for many, many years. He has 45 years of experience in nonprofit management, 25 of which have been as the executive director of the LaGrange Personal Aid, which, like this Rotary Club of LaGrange, was founded in 1923, so it's 100 years old. Paul was an officer in the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary in Michigan and is an avid boater and aviation enthusiast. And he serves as sacristan and Eucharistic minister of St. Peter's Catholic Church. I think you'll all be surprised what all LaGrange Personal Aid does in this community. So let's welcome Paul.
Hello. As Dee said, the organization is 100 years old. Granted, I haven't worked there for 100 years, but I did have more hair when I started there, which was 25 years ago. I remember my first meeting, my first United Way meeting, and I looked around at all the people that had been there for years, all the executive directors who'd been there for years, and I thought, wow, you know, I don't know if I'm going to make that. Now I go to the meetings and there's only 2 people left who were there originally. I was saying to Dee, you know, after you get to a certain age and in a job for a certain number of years, the people you've been working with for a long time, they start retiring. And you have to get used to all new people. I guess that's one of either the benefits or the deficits of being there a long time, one of the two. For most of the 100 years that we've been around, we've been a proud United Way agency. We had files when I first started there going back to 1930. They had everything on still paper files. And when you read them, you could trace families that went all the way through from 1930 through the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. There was things about it was LaGrange Welfare Association was what it was called when it first started back then. And there was things about that we gave people a ham or a bag of coal during the Depression to get them through hard times. And once we put everything on the computer, we donated all those files to the archives. So all that family history is not lost, and people can search through the microfiche and find information about their family at the archives. The basic programs we have a utility assistance program, which is the Share and the Roundup program. Share is money that people voluntarily add to their bill. Could be $5 or $10 a month. And that comes to us every month and we distribute that out. Now that can go to anybody. It can go to Diverse Power, it can go to the City of West Point, City of Hogansville. Although with City of Hogansville, their bills are so high, it doesn't touch that. And then there's Roundup. Roundup is an automatic roundup to the next nearest whole dollar by the City of LaGrange. Now with Share, we usually get between $300 and $400 a month with Share. And it used to be that's all we had before Roundup came along. And once I helped 3 people or 4 people with $100 on their bill, it was gone. And we were done for the month. But with Roundup, we get between $4,000 and $5,000 a month. So we're able to help a lot more people with the Roundup program. We also help with rent
if someone is out of work and under doctor's care. It's mainly designed to support the family during the time when they have medical need, if they've been hospitalized, if they have an accident or something, so that they don't lose their home while they're recuperating. We help with prescription payments, we help with medical supplies, which could be anything from a rental of a wheelchair to rental of a mask if they've got, if they have to wear oxygen at night, things like that. We help with school supplies and backpacks before school opens. We have a food closet, the Interfaith Food Closet. And in addition to the regular food that we give out with the food closet, we also help with food for the homeless. And we also give them coats and clothing that were donated by the Kiwanis Club and Baptist Tabernacle Church. So we do that also. With the food closet, we give a week's worth of food. It's not everything for a week, it's the basics for a week. And we have churches come in and they donate their time. Most of the people they send are older people, because those are the people who aren't working during the day. And they bag the food together, and the people who come in and sign up for the food closet, we do probably 35 to 40 twice a week with the food closet. And they bag the food and we take it out and put it in their cars for them. We also do, we give out Bibles in large print. For seniors, we get a lot of seniors who ask for that because they can't read their Bibles because the print is too small. So we buy the large print for them and for people with vision problems. We have a Veterans Assistance Program. It's called the Charles C. Maddox Veterans Assistance Program. And that helps veterans with whatever they need. And we try to have as little paperwork as possible because they go through a lot of paperwork when they go through the Veterans Administration. So we don't want to put them through that again. And Mr. Maddox was a member of our board for many years. He used to come every 2 weeks and sign our paychecks. And he would walk into my office and he would say, "Gee, I got a cramp in my hand today. I can't sign the checks." And my secretary would run up to him and she'd massage his hand and say, "Oh, here, does that feel better?" And he used to tell us all these stories about, because he was a World War II vet. He used to tell all these stories about when he was over in France and Germany and stuff. And he was just a wonderful man. And when he died, I called his wife and I said, we would like to honor him in some way. I said, we're thinking of putting together a veterans program. And I said, we would like to name it after him so that as long as personal aid exists, his name would be honored. And she was thrilled with it. So that's why we named it that after him. We have an Empty Stocking Fund Christmas program also. That we used to do that for years when the Pilot Club, it was actually a program of the Pilot Club, which was a derivation of the JCs from years ago. And when the Pilot Club decided that they were going to dissolve, we thought that the Empty Stocking Fund would dissolve also, because we would be taking names for them and they'd give out the toys. So I went up to United Way. I said, "Patty, is there any way that we can get the allocation that the Pilot Club was getting for the Empty Stocking Fund?" She said, "Sure, apply for it." So I did. So now we're doing the whole program ourselves. And what we do is we put I start buying toys in January and February with donated funds. And I buy things on clearance and on sale, and I put them back in our conference room. Well, by July, I can't even have a board meeting in there because it's so full of toys. And we have that board meeting out in the hallway. But what we do is we put everything on shelves and we bring the parents in and they actually shop for their kids. They're not able to shop normally, but this preserves their dignity and allows them to choose the toys for their children because they know what they would want. So I try to buy a variety of things. In 2022, last year, each child got 5 toys and 4 books. We also provide books. We also gave them wrapping paper We had stocking stuffers, crafts, and games. And any toys or books that were left over at the end of the year, we give out all through the year. So usually if a child comes with their parents for utility help, rental help, whatever they come in for, they don't leave the office without a book or a toy. In the past, I try to keep the programs flexible. I always tell people I don't fit people into our program. The program fits the people. It's not fair to say to someone, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's not on our brochure." We don't do that because they need a car repair or a senior needs help with their property taxes so they can stay in their home and not have to go into nursing home because they can't pay their property taxes. So we've helped with those things. We also have bought used refrigerators and stoves, and I look at whatever the person needs and try to fit it in. I drive my auditors crazy because I don't necessarily put the right things on the right lines, but if I have the money, I try to spend it. We have a church benevolence program, which is a program for churches that want to help people in the community but can't do it themselves or don't want to because, say, like Rosemont, they want to help people directly, but they get people who walk off of I-85 or 185, and it's not safe to keep the doors open, so the secretary can't do it. Well, they send their money to us once a month, and we distribute that out in our normal assistance. And I send them a report along with some client stories, which they put in their bulletin every month or every week, and lets them know they're helping the community. We have our own database of everyone we've helped since 1998. So we're able to help churches if they want to know, if they have someone who comes to them and wants funding or something, or another organization comes to them and they call us and they say, have they ever been to you? And we'll say, well, yeah, they were just here for $100 on their utility bill. Oh, they said they never heard of you. So that's one of the things we're able to do is check up on people. We're also the co-administrator of a thing called Charity Tracker, which is an online database system. And any church, any organization can become part of Charity Tracker. And what you do is you put in their name, address, their social security number, and it brings up all the file of whoever's helped them in the community and with what and how much. So it helps if you have limited funding, you're able to check up on people. Now, some organizations like Harmony House will just use it for information purposes because they can't put in there what they've done for someone because of privacy. But they will, you know, it's hard when you got all these people looking at you. You get tongue tied. But they use it for information. They can check up on what people have been helped with before they came to them, and that helps them. We also work with the other United Way agencies. Again, with Harmony House, we have paid for bus tickets. Sometimes one time they had a gentleman knocking at the door, or knocking the door down at the front door at Harmony House, trying to get to his wife, and they were taking her out the back. And they would bring them over and ask us to pay for bus tickets for them. So that's one thing that we do. And we help if a battered woman is able to get away from her batterer or ex-husband, and they're starting their life over and they need help with the first month's rent or the utility deposit. So we'll do that. We also are very proud that it's been passed around with women in that situation that we are a safe place. We are something that the battered men, the men don't think is suspect. If they say, well, I'm going to go and see if I can get utility help, they don't think anything of that. So they're able to come over to us and they tell us what's going on. And we put them in my food closet coordinator's office, and we call Harmony House and they arrange things with them. So we're very proud that we're a safe place for them. We also work with Mady Smith Memorial Nursery. We've given them toys and books in the past. And if we get any large cans of food that we are not able to give out, we give that to them, and that helps them with their budgets also. We also work with literacy volunteers. We have an information form that people fill out when they first come to us. Gives us their basic information. Well, sometimes people are 40, 50 years old. They can't write. Totally illiterate. They can't write, they can't read. And I said, well, how did you get through life without people abusing you? And you don't know how much change they're giving you back. You don't know what you're signing. And they said, yeah, it's been very difficult. Yeah. So we give them a referral to literacy volunteers. And in that program, they assign someone to work with them one-on-one. They don't make them feel bad that they can't read or write, and they teach them how to read and write, which is great. At this time, we're assisting people who've been affected by the recent tornadoes. I tried to think of what personal aid could do, because I know people like Red Cross and Salvation Army are doing the emergency stuff. They're feeding people, they're doing their emergency needs. But I thought, well, what could we do? And so I thought about the utilities. So what I did was I called the city of LaGrange and Diverse Power. And I said, do you have a list of people who have been affected by the tornado? People who you had to remove their meter because their house was so damaged or had to be shut off for a while? And they said, yes. I said, well, if you can give me that along with their name and how much their bill is, I said, we'll try and pay their bill off so that when they get their house repaired or have to transfer the service, they don't have a current bill. And so that's what we've been working with right now. We've been working with the people and with the utility companies to pay those bills down. You know, it's easy to get caught up in the search for funding when you're a nonprofit. You're always looking for money. Someone asked me the other day, do you accept money? I said, you're talking to someone from a nonprofit, but do we accept money? And I said, you know, in the paperwork, but for me, it's all about the people. It's about an 87-year-old woman who called us one time and said she was eating her food as fast as she could. Her refrigerator stopped working. And she was trying to eat it as fast as she could. And we said, well, and she's someone who had been to the food closet many, many times. And she was a sweet lady. She's passed away now, but so what we did was we went out and bought her a new refrigerator and had it delivered to her home. And she was thrilled. Unfortunately, her vision was so bad that she couldn't see the roaches running everywhere, which is unfortunate, but she had a new refrigerator and she was able to keep her food safe, which was a good thing. It's about a woman who came in last week. She was starting a new job that evening, actually. And she needed some clothing and shoes to go to her new job. We gave her those. We were able to find those in the donated things we had. And I took out a gas card to her and I handed it to her and she started to cry because she didn't have any gas to get to work that night. So that's a good thing. And it's about a woman who came into the office a couple of years ago and she asked if I remembered her. And I thought, well, it's not like I don't see a bunch of people every day. And she said that I gave her son a teddy bear 10 years ago. And she said he was going through a hard time at that time. And she said that the bear helped him. And she said he still has it. And I often tell my two staff that I have, because I only have a secretary and food closet coordinator, it's not always the big things we do for people. Sometimes the small things can make the most difference. Thank you. Yes.
Yes. You said you started in 1930, it was called the LaGrange Welfare Association.
Yes.
Can you say a few words about how it started? Do you know the history?
I know you weren't there. We have a copy in my office. There's a copy of what called the LaGrange graphic, which is what the LaGrange Daily News was called back in 1923. And it has item on the paper about the formation of the LaGrange Welfare Association. And one of our first presidents was one of Callaway's. And the first secretary and the first executive director was Viola Burks, which was Camp Viola Burks. And so we had, when you look at the history of who was on our board at that time, it was the Dunsons, J.K. Boatwright, the Callaways, all the big names here in town. And it was put together because they figured there was a need to help people who were low income and needy in the area. And so it was just put together as a clearinghouse because the churches couldn't handle all the requests that were coming into them. So that's why it started back then. And we lost our records from 23 to 30. Apparently there was a fire downtown on Main Street. So we had our office on the second floor of one of the buildings that time, and we lost all the records. So 1930 was as far back as we go. Yes, sir.
I know it's LaGrange personal aid.
Yes.
But do you reach out to well, not reach out, but do you service other municipalities such as
Yes.
West Point, Hubbardsville?
Yes, we do Troop, Meriwether, Heard, and Carroll counties. Carroll, because United Way asked us to do Carroll because the United Way of Atlanta does fundraising in Carroll County, but they won't provide service to Carroll County. And United Way of West Georgia has asked the United Way of Atlanta, if we're servicing this area, can you give us the money? No. So we help the people in Carroll County. Yes, sir.
Would you describe your role of LaGrange personally?
My role?
Yes.
Oh, my role is executive director. As with any director or executive in a company, I like to say my job description, I do more that's under other than I do my really job description. It's kind of a catch-all for everything. Everything that needs to be done, other than what my secretary or the food closet coordinator does, is what I do. But I love my job, and I love the people that we see every day, because I just love the feeling when someone comes in and they've got the world on their shoulders and their power is going to be turned off, or they're going to be put out of their home. And I'm able to stop that from happening or take that burden off them. And when they leave with a smile on their face, that's the reason for being.
What I want you to say is that you refer people to LaGrange personally who have a job, no insurance. Is that still the case?
No insurance?
Health insurance.
Oh, yes, we do screening. Yeah, we do screening for Troop Cares Clinic and for WellStar Physicians Group. And Troop Cares, you have to be working. WellStar Physicians Group, you cannot be working. So if someone needs to see a doctor, we're able to fit them into one program or the other, which is great. Thank you for the reminder.
If you ever get the chance to go visit, I would, and if there's a time that you can, I would highly recommend that you do. I've driven by many times, and Barbara and I got to go visit him there for the Super Santa contribution. And besides striking me that it's definitely not a closet, there's a lot there. The second thing that struck me and stayed with me is that there is, it's so much care given to not only picking the things that are there and making sure, but just the display so that anybody coming in, whether it's the parents or the kids or whatever, would just be in awe and wonderstruck at just how the bicycles are displayed, the books, the toys, the clothes, the food, everything is just wonderfully done. And to me, it just says, gives a sense of worth and to anybody coming in. And it's a very, very well done. And so thank you so much for your service in that area. And of course, in honor and greatest appreciation of your speaking today, we'll make a donation in your honor to Polio Plus, which is Rotary's initiative to eradicate polio worldwide. I have to apologize for everyone. I know that in the spring, you probably want a day off from a Wednesday, and we're not giving you that. Of course, we have Paul today, and we've got coming up next week, the Agricultural Commissioner, Gary Black, followed on the 29th, Trip Penn for a Callaway update. And then on April 5th, our own Brent Gibbs regarding Sweetland Amphitheater. On April 12th, the Georgia DOT Commissioner. April 19th, the District Attorney Coweta Judicial District, Herb Cranford. And April 26th, Teacher of the Year, Michael Cavito. And then on May 3rd, there's a macroeconomic update with Cal Evans and Brooke Blockwell from the Synovus Market Intel Department. So in short, you have no Wednesday off that you can miss, and you need to invite people to come to hear wonderful programs like we just heard today. Thank you, we're adjourned.